Hi. How many times in our life do we deny to do the Lord's work just because we think, oh, that's too difficult for me? Or it would really take a long, long time and I really don't have time for all this. Stay on with me today as we talk about a Bible character who obeyed God and not just obeyed God but was consistent in obeying God and did what God wanted him to do. In today's Bible Banter. Welcome to today's Bible Banter. The Bible character that we are going to talk about today is Noah. Now, we find this character of Noah in Genesis chapter 5 till chapter 10. And we find him in a situation where the world was running away from God, was busy doing things that God doesn't like. And in that situation, God finds Noah and he gives him a task to do. And task was not just a small thing to build. It was not just mini bits where he had to build an ark where he would take himself and his family and just go away to a safe place. But it was a task to build a huge, huge ark. The other problem was, it is said that the area where Noah lived was a dry place. Imagine that. If something like that happens to us, we would say, God, are you really serious? Wait, I live in a dry place. What will I be doing of the ark? It doesn't sound rational to us. But Noah did what God asked him to do. He built an ark. And it is said that it took about 120 years for him to build an ark. Because it was a huge ark. According to the calculations, it says that it was 137 meters long. Well, the average football field or the length of football field is about 91.5 meters. So it was even longer than that. Recent studies say that it would have easily carried 70,000 animals in the ark. So that gives us a fair bit of idea of how huge that task was. And still Noah did it because God wanted him to do it. And we all know the story of Noah. Then what happens? Then he builds an ark. God helps him to get all the animals in the ark. And the flood comes and every living creature, those who couldn't survive in water, died. But Noah, his family and all the animals in that ark were safe. My dear friends, from this story of Noah, there are three important things that we understand. It was just one person who was standing between the total extinction of mankind and God. If God wouldn't have seen Noah as a righteous man, the whole human race would have been wiped out from the face of earth. But it was one man whom God chose to do the task. And God did not just choose him because he was there. But Bible tells us that Noah was walking with the Lord. He was a righteous man and he was a blameless person living on the earth. Now Noah was a righteous man. And his righteousness was not just with the Lord, but that was seen when he was with the people. The third aspect, as we said, it took about 120 years for him to build an ark. Now, I'm not sure if we have any viewers whose age is 121 years or even 100. So that's almost more than our lifetime these days. But he kept on doing what God wanted him to do. Must have been difficult. We see all sorts of technologies today. Then There was none. But Noah did what God wanted him to do. My dear friends, when we look out in the world, there are so many people who are lost in the darkness. There are so many people who are still not aware of God's love. Noah made the difference by obeying to what God wanted him to do. How are we making difference? By obeying the Lord in our lives. How many times are we willing to say, yes, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I will do it. How many times we keep on doing God's work consistently, believing and knowing that God will make things possible. Maybe we start doing God's work. We do it for one day, 1 week, 1 month, few months, a year, few years, and then at some point we come to the place where we say, oh, I've been doing it for a year now, at least for a year or more than a year now, but I don't see anything happening. Think of Noah, 120 years in a dry land, building an ark. People must be mocking him. People must be saying, oh, you're a really foolish man. But Noah was willing to be called a foolish man because he wanted to obey God. My dear friends, are we willing to obey the Lord's command, to do what He wants us to do, to save and seek the lost? Trivia time! Last time, as always, I asked you 2 questions. The first question was, find out the 2 references in the New Testament which talks about Balaam. The 2 references are 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 15, and he is also mentioned in Revelation chapter 2 verse 14. Second question was, for how many years did people of Israel wander in the wilderness? And the answer is, they wandered for about 40 years. So the journey actually would have taken much lesser time if they would have obeyed God. Oh, it's interesting. We did talk about obedience today. Because of their disobedience, they had to travel in the wilderness for about 40 years. Questions for this week. What are the names of Noah's sons? He had 3 sons, and what are their names? The second question is, according to the Bible, who is the longest lived man on this earth? And what was his age when he died? We've come to the end of this video. As always, if you have liked this video or any other videos that we have on our channel, please do like them. Please do share these videos with your friends so that we would continue to share God's love and His message with our friends and our family. Have a lovely week, and God bless you all.